welcome to the show to the mighty Westlife. Hi, guys.
Hello, how are we?
doing?
Good. Go around the table and say who we've got today.
Hello, everybody. This is Shane.
Hello, everybody. This is Cian.
I'm Mark, and Nicky's not here today, so he says hello to everyone and sorry for not being here. And together, we're Westlife.
That was very good.
I've got to say, by the way, the record company, very efficient, sent me a copy of the album. I wouldn't
did they?
Yeah, I wouldn't normally listen to it before an interview because, I've got to say, I think it's the best thing you've ever done. Really? Genuinely. Yeah, I love it.
Well, actually, do you know what? You were actually the first person that we've got any feedback from outside the circle of people who sort of made the album. You're the first person to tell us what they think, so that's a good start, isn't it?
I wouldn't listen to me, though.
Really?
He doesn't know anything
You
about
get it wrong,
music.
is it?
Yeah,
You're a Wagner fan, are you?
Yeah.
That's me, and I think it's good as well, so it's fine.
Okay.
No,
Thank you very much.
I really, really genuinely loved it, and I love some of the meaty stuff that accompanied it. Some of the quotes from Nicky. He said, "We've got an album of 12 tracks here. It's not like in the past where we had a lot of covers. It might have taken us 12 years, but, we finally arrived at something that's us," is pretty much what he said. Is that how you guys see this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think, and we have to remember we're a pop act and we don't sort of, ramble off about, the musical direction that we've decided to go in this album and stuff like that. But, everything's always a work in progress. You always try and improve yourself. You always try and, some people move on in much more extreme ways, but we don't do that. But we still try and improve ourselves each time round. On this album, we got to work with a guy called John Shanks, who we've been really wanting to work with for quite some time now, and the reason we wanted to work with him was because we admired his production so much. We feel that his production is the best production in that genre in the world, so there's definitely a subtle but very definite difference in this album.
Do you know what amazed me when I was reading about this and the whole experience of making it? I can't remember which one of you it was that said it. It's probably Nicky again that said it about the fact that you were going to be in the studio together, and this was kind of like a first time thing. I remember hearing Girls Aloud say, "Oh, we never even see each other," and I was thinking that can't be right.
No, well, I think that there's some truth in that, in a sense, and then sometimes there's not. I mean, when we first started off, we spent a lot of time in studio as a band. We would arrive at a studio as a band. We'd record one song in a day or 2 days, and then we'd leave that studio and go work with a different producer. And then as kind of the years went on, because we got very comfortable with the same kind of one or two producers, rather than us all rocking up to the studio from Monday to Friday, we would turn around and say, well, who do you want when? And he'd say, yeah, well, there's no point in you all hanging around. So, Shane would come on a Monday, Mark would come on a Tuesday, I'd go on a Wednesday, Nicky on a Thursday, etc., etc. And then it became very, very normal for that to happen for us, to the point that we actually were never in studio as a group together making them records.
Does that not put you off, though, when you sing live together? You go, "Oh, he's singing in my ear. You put me right off."
No, not really, because, obviously, like,
You learn the bits.
You learn your individual parts while you're recording them, and then when it gets to actually performing them, you do a natural rehearsal and stuff like that. But so this album, well, in particular with John Shanks, he wanted it very different, because he had never worked the way we had worked. He was like, everybody comes to the studio every day. It's as simple as that. I don't know who I'm going to use. I don't know what song we're going to do that day. It was a very organic, free, kind of open process. It was a very different process for us.
But a great process.
Yeah, we were involved from the start. I mean, we were in the room when the songs were being written. Even if we weren't part of the writing team in the song, we'd still be in the room. And then sometimes we'd actually get involved in the songwriting. I mean, Mark wrote 2 songs by himself outside of this that ended up on the album. And, one of them songs in particular is being chosen as a lot of people's favourites at the moment as well. So
let me just once again return to the ever quoted Nicky here.
Poor Nicky.
But Nicky says he made us feel like a band again. This producer, have you gone from being on the conveyor belt and you actually needed this experience to perhaps now producing the definitive Westlife album?
I think what happened sort of unintentionally was we kind of fell into a pattern, and I'd say over time we kind of, definitely more than anything, unintentionally, this album basically reminded us that we are a band and we very much enjoy being a band. And technically you could go to the studio and I could do my bits one day and so on and so forth, but there's a lot to be said for all of us going into the studio. I think this album would not be the same album if we didn't do it like that. There was moments where we were just sitting around in the studio and the producer has a beautiful house in LA and we were out playing tennis in his tennis court in his garden.
Nice.
And we came back in, we were just sitting around, we were like, oh, to be honest, I don't think we're going to be able to do lead vocals right now. And we were just messing around, and all of a sudden we started saying, oh, why don't we do a gospel choir on that song? And that gospel choir bit wouldn't have been there if we weren't all there together, if we didn't happen to maybe play tennis beforehand and be too tired to do lead vocals. And honestly, we started the entire album with a blank page, and we ended up after many, many long, hard days in the studio with this
And playing
album.
tennis.
Yeah, many hard
And a better backhand.
many hard sets.
Yeah.
But,
It's like a
but
lad's holiday.
This album is basically, it's a result of us going into a studio and locking ourselves in a studio with John Shanks for like 3 months. And it wouldn't be what it was if we didn't all spend time in the studio together, regardless of if we were doing something that particular day or not, you know.
All right, well, let's stick on a song. We'll come right back and talk some more in a moment. It's Westlife on the show, everybody.